All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is DB talking now. DB talking birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. What a crazy first week of free agency. Honestly, for the Philadelphia Eagles, we thought their backs were going to be more up against the wall than they actually are. They still kind of are. Their backs still kind of are up against the wall, but they did lose quite a bit of players, quite a bit of few key starters along the defensive side of the football. Linebackers T.J. Edwards, Kaiser White, um, and then we also lost Javon Hargrave, obviously, to the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to do some great things with those guys over there. So they're going to be a team to look out for, as we addressed before. Honestly, the most heartbreaking one, to be completely fair, just because we didn't think it was going to play out as long as it did play out, but it is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Obviously, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was signed yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. Um, and even the more heartbreaking thing, to be completely honest with you, is the amount of money that he took, the length of years of the deal, and the team that he got signed with as well. Um, so he signed a 1-year deal worth up to $8 million with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions of all teams. Um, and rumor has it that the Eagles did offer him a 2 to 3 year deal to bring him back. It would have been the cherry on top of, honestly, a really great start to the offseason for Howieroseman once again. Just because Howieroseman, like I said, with what appeared to be the Eagles having their backs up against the wall, was able to bring back cornerback James Bradbury, who we thought was a definite goner. Wasn't going to be back at all this season, but he ended up signing a 3-year deal worth up to $38 million. And then they were able to get an extension done for Darius Slay, and that was a whole bunch. That was a back and forth for about 48 hours. Was he going to get released? Was he not going to get released? What's happening with Darius Slay? Finally, Darius Slay gets extended, and we're still thinking that CJ Gardner-Johnson is coming back. And my favorite signing, honestly, to be completely honest with you, was um, probably cornerback Grady Williams. I love Grady Williams. I think he's still got a ton of upside. I think he's a great depth piece for this cornerback room. And I think it's going to be a phenomenal thing for him to sit behind Darius Slay and James Bradbury for a year to learn some phenomenal techniques to get back on pace with the trajectory that we all thought that he was going to have when he came out of LSU when he was drafted. King Miro, what's up, my man? Welcome to the chat. King says, we aren't done with the safety position, but I am disappointed at CJGJ. Me too, man. Me too. And this just in, honestly, the Philadelphia Eagles did sign safety Justin Evans today, was formerly drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A pretty serviceable safety. In my opinion, he did sit out the last couple seasons, if I recall correctly, with injuries. Injuries started to derail his career, but he's going to come in and he's going to compete. Because honestly, right now, the only safeties that we have on this roster are Reed Blankenship, who obviously we were all really impressed with last season. And then Kayvon Wallace, who I believe I can speak for everybody when I say he should have been gone 2 years ago. So, King says the dude literally played with our feelings for weeks. Yeah, are you talking about CJG or Chauncey? Are you talking about Chauncey? Well, here's the thing. So from what I understand, and the more that I read into it, and the more that I look at it, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles offered him a multi-year deal to start free agency. Chauncey turned it down, and by that point, the Philadelphia Eagles had already moved on to prioritizing other things like bringing back James Bradbury, getting an extension done with Darius Slay, signing Greedy Williams, signing Rashad Penny, signing Marcus Mariota to play quarterback, to backup quarterback. We haven't even mentioned that yet. So we're going to touch on that a little bit too, because just the storyline of that one and the irony of that is just absolutely baffling. AJ Styles, what's up, my man? Welcome to the chat. Long time no chat. Long time no chat. Long time no see. Justin Evans, Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, yeah. So we just mentioned we just touched on that. I think if Justin Evans can come in and can be a healthy version of himself, um, it could be a really good signing, honestly. Definitely a good depth piece. He's obviously going to come in and compete for a spot. I know that he was ascending before injuries started to derail his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll definitely see what happens there. But yeah, no, as King said, um, they are not done. They are not done making moves. As far as them addressing the safety position and it going as far as drafting Brian Branch out of Alabama. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think Brian Branch is gonna go somewhere between 10 and 16 in the draft, and I just don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are gonna draft him as high as 10, even though I really like Brian Branch. I think he's a phenomenal, versatile safety. I think he can play your slot corner. I think he can play any position in the secondary, and I would be happy to have him, honestly, even if we drafted him at 10. But I think that they're going to explore other options. One of the things that I was looking at, and one of the players that I was looking at, who was still a free agent safety up to this point, was safety Nasir Adderley. For the Chargers, he was 25. He is 25 years old. But he did go ahead and announce his retirement today, shockingly, and surprising everybody with that. But he would have been a serviceable player. He would have been a serviceable player to come in and maybe start until we found a better player. But he had his bumps in the road, but he was an ascending player as well. Um, another name to keep your eye out for, obviously, is safety Adrian Amos, who is still a free agent safety. And he did play for Sean Desai, who is our new defensive coordinator, obviously. So that's another name to keep your eye out on. So King says, I really want Byron from the Titans. Yeah, maybe. King says Jalen Carter or Will Anderson at 10 and trade up to get Bajan because Kenny Gainwell will be our only running back next season. Yeah, so we're going to touch on the running backs. Most definitely we're going to touch on the running backs because obviously the Philadelphia Eagles signed Rashad Penny, and obviously Rashad is a guy who has had an injury-riddled career up to this point in Seattle. My question is, can he revitalize his career? He's still a young back. I think he's only 27. Can he revitalize his career and kind of get rid of the injury bug behind a more dominant offensive line in the Philadelphia Eagles? We'll just have to see. I am not opposed to drafting Bijan Robinson. If he's there at 20 or if he's there at 21, then I say all day, every day, you make the trade up from 30 and you go get Bijan Robinson. No doubt in my mind. But Jalen Carter, Will Anderson at 10. Guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't think Jalen Carter is going to be worth it at 10. Now don't now don't start climbing the telephone poles just yet, but Jalen Carter showed up to, obviously he didn't finish his pro day because he was out of shape. He couldn't finish his pro day. Obviously he's going through some things, and yeah, there's been some articles that maybe he just showed up out of shape because of all the personal shit that he's going through. But if Will Anderson is there at 10, which I don't think he's going to be, I don't think Will Anderson's going to be there. I think he's going to go top 5, no doubt in my mind. It would be Will Anderson, hands down, no hands barred. So, but we'll see. Big Play Slay or franchise, formerly known as Big Play Slay. What's up, my man? How you doing? He says the stress is probably getting to Carter. I honestly think it's not. I think it's not a far reach. I honestly think it's not a far reach that Carter is going to be at 10. Guys, I think Jalen Carter is going to be there. Like that's just my hunch. Like we've seen this before. We've seen these players projected in the top 3, in the top 5, and then something happens at their pro day or something happens at the scouting combine, and then they start to drop, right? They start to drop further and further down in the first round, or maybe even into the second round. They slip into the third round, and boom, bada boom, they go and they get them. Perfect example for last year is our new starting middle linebacker, Nakobe Dean. And I still think that Kobe Dean is going to be a stud. King says, plus I heard Bijan is in Philly right now. If Bijan Robinson is in Philly right now, then he's got to be top 3 on Howie's board. He's got to be top 3 on Howie's board. And we're gonna touch on this because we have to remember when it comes to the possibility of drafting Bijan Robinson or drafting a running back that high in the first round at all, it has to be a special player, right? Howie has said this before in the past. You know, it's got to be a Christian McCaffrey type player. He said it in the 2016 Carson Wentz draft that if they weren't able to go up to 2 and get Carson Wentz, they were going to stay there and take Zeke Elliott because he thought Zeke Elliott was so good. So, I mean, Bijan Robinson is that good. It wouldn't surprise me if Bijan Robinson's top 3, top 2 on Howie's board at 10, to be completely honest with you, especially with the signing of Grady Williams kind of pushes Devin Witherspoon off the board, to be completely honest with you. A little, nudges him a little bit further down the board. Franchise Big Play Slay says, I think, can I just call you Big Play Slay? Do I have to call you franchise, or can I just keep calling you Big Play Slay? He said, probably going to hate me for this. I think Carter should have just not participated at his pro day. I agree. I agree with that. I think it probably would have been best to kind of sit out the pro day. At least until he probably could have got his mind right. Now, look, I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody's personal situation and how that's affecting, you know, their internal, right? But you know, you gotta protect yourself through the process too. And I think that he could have possibly done that. But hindsight's always 2020. You know what I mean? Hindsight's always 2020. And he probably wanted to put a good foot forward, so he decided to show up regardless. King says Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, honestly. Personally, if I had to choose between the two, I would say Bijan Robinson. I would say Bijan Robinson. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs reminds me a lot of Melvin Gordon. He reminds me a lot of Melvin Gordon. Bijan Robinson reminds me a lot of Saquon, to be honest. He reminds me a lot of Saquon. So it's like, who would you rather have? Would you rather have? I mean, both running backs are great. Saquon obviously is great. Melvin Gordon was great. So it's like, you know, I wouldn't mind having either one on my team. I think running back is definitely going to be a high priority for the Philadelphia Eagles, because if you can have a back that can do it all, it's worth having. And I think that is commonly the misperception or misconception in today's NFL and how they fit in today's NFL, in the modern NFL game. It's like, if you have a Saquon Barkley, you're going to use him. You know what I mean? This is a new mic, everybody. How's this sounding? Is it sounding okay? You can call me Slay. Touche. Slay says Gibbs is good. He's a better receiving back than a rusher. Agreed. Agreed. King says, I also love Miles Murphy from Clemson. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. So as far as guys at 10, if we're talking about draft boards, um, I like Devin Witherspoon, obviously. If I'm being realistic about it, I do think the G.WILLIAMS signing did push it away, did push uh cornerback that high off the board for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially the fact that we were able to bring back James Bradbury and extend Slay. So um I also think who else would be I think I like Luke Van Ness. I do like Bajan Robinson that high. To be completely honest with you, I like Kalijah Pinsey or whatever his name is out of Pitt. There's a few guys. There's a few guys that I like at 10, honestly. Slay says, Devin Witherspoon is one of my favorite players in the class. He's literally everything you want in a corner. Yeah, he is. He's an aggressive tackler. He's in the right place all the time, and he's got good coverage ability. I absolutely love Devin Witherspoon. All three cornerbacks in the all of the top three cornerbacks in this draft class I really, really like. So Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr., and Devin Witherspoon. Not in that order. Slay says, Canty to me would be a better edge rusher than DT. Yeah, and I think, well, here's the thing is I think he's going to be one of those guys that you can kind of line up anywhere. It would be surprising to me if whatever team does land Canty doesn't utilize him in that way, right? So, but we'll just have to see. Slay says Cancy's speed is eye popping. Yeah, yeah. And guys, when it comes to the defensive tackle position, I think that there's one thing that is being overlooked and not being talked about enough, and that is the jump for Milton Williams. The jump for Milton Williams from year 1 to year 2 was absolutely astounding, actually. I don't know why he disappeared towards the end of the season. I really don't. I think it's because Jonathan Gannon started to use Sue and Linval Joseph a lot more. Obviously Jordan Davis came back as well, but I mean, like, Milton Williams was making the most of his opportunities when he was in there. So just excited to see what he's going to bring to the table in year 3. King says, I'm excited for Milton Williams. Thank God Gannon is gone. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, dude. Seriously. I was throughout the season, my optimism on Gannon was kind of up and down, right? It was up and down. So, like, obviously the defense was playing pretty good through most of the season. But then there would just be things, Gannonisms, right? Like, there would just be things that he would do throughout the season that just didn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. And then lo and behold, it all just came crumbling in the in the Super Bowl when you went up against a great quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. You went up against a great play caller in Andy Reid, and you got out coached, you got out schemed, you got outplayed, and you didn't know how to adjust. You didn't know how to utilize your players in the best position. I mean, CJGJ came out and said it best. He said Jonathan Gannon didn't put us in the position to make the plays. So, I mean, I'm hoping that Sean Desai, can bring a little bit more consistency to our defense moving forward. That's at least what I'm hoping for. It's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to be hella different because obviously we're going to have the defense is going to look a lot different. Um, but I'm at least hoping for a bit more consistency. King says Gannon literally costed us the game, but I'm not worried about it because I know we will be back in the Super Bowl in no time. Yeah, yeah. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the potential of this offense. I think Jalen Hurts is phenomenal. Jalen Hurts is phenomenal, and I hope that he can continue to get better. He's still young, man. Jalen Hurts is still a young quarterback. They're going to get the deal done at some point. There was a report that came out today that they finally had initial conversations about getting a deal done. So we'll just see. They have quite a bit of cap, I think. I'm not quite sure what the cap number is right now, but they have some cap. Um, Obviously, if they got a deal done, and they'll get it, they'll probably get a deal done before the draft. But honestly, that whatever it's going to be, let's say it's 50 million per year, that's not going to take effect until next season. He's going to finish out his rookie contract for this year. But some other things that we need to address, though, we have to address the third wide receiver position. I honestly think that Quez Watkins is not going to be back. I think they're going to try and trade him. There were reports that they already tried to trade him. Zach Pascal is not coming back. He just signed with the Cardinals either today or yesterday. But so I mean, there's still Mecole Hardman out there in free agency. There's some guys that I like in the draft that could be there, when we pick in the third round. So there's going to be some options. There are some mock drafts, actually. I think PFF's mock draft had us taking a wide receiver at 10. I forgot the dude's name. King says, with Jalen having that mindset, we will go far for years. Yeah. His mindset is incredible. His work ethic, his mindset, his leadership ability. It's just going to continue to manifest, continue to get better. And you just hope that stays, obviously, with the player after they get paid, right? Now, don't take this out of proportion at all, because I'm not comparing these two players whatsoever. But Antonio Brown was a really, really hard worker before he got paid. And then he got paid, and all of a sudden he turned into this fucking fireworks show. This self-destructive fireworks show. So, that I'm not saying that's going to happen to Jalen Hurts whatsoever. In fact, I know it's not going to happen to Jalen Hurts. We don't really need to, spend too much time on that one. But, you just hope that it continues to manifest at the level that it manifests at now. King says Quez needs competition, honestly. Competition for the third spot? Yeah, maybe. I mean, they could bring back Greg Ward, and Greg Ward could challenge him for could compete with him. The thing is that I think the best move for the Philadelphia Eagles, as far as that third spot is concerned, is to really actually look at it like it's a slot role. You look for the utility wide receiver in the slot role. You look for Debo-esque type of dude in the slot role. So that's why, like, when I see Mecole Hardman still in free agency, I'm like, why not? Why not kick the tires? Why not kick the tires on Mecole Hardman? One, he could serve two purposes. he could come in and he could be a good wide receiver option for you, and he could also give you the return game. He could also boost your return game on special teams. So I have no idea what the fuck they're waiting for on that one, but who knows? Who knows? Slay says the NFL is in good hands with these young QBs. Yeah, I agree. It's a really cool time. To be completely honest with you, I mean, obviously it's headlined by Patrick Mahomes. Because Patrick Mahomes can still qualify as that younger quarterback. He's only 27 years old. And then you have Justin Herbert, you have Josh Allen, you have Joe Burrow, and now you have Jalen Hurts. And we're not throwing Dak Prescott into the mix because, let's be honest, Dak Prescott is who we thought he was this entire time. There was once a time where we thought Carson Wentz was better than Dak Prescott, but we can let the Cowboys have that one, right? We can let the Cowboys have that one. King says for the third spot, yes. Yeah. And it's honestly, to touch back on what Slay was saying, it's a really exciting time. It's a really exciting time because all of these young quarterbacks are jockeying for that spotlight, for the who's got the more oomph in the up and coming quarterback category. And clearly it is Patrick Mahomes. But who can challenge Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Who's going to dethrone Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? And that's where I get really excited, is because honestly, there's nobody else in the NFC right now who looks like they could challenge Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, to be completely honest with you. It looks like it's just Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. So Patrick, Joe, Josh, Justin, Jalen, Lamar, there's so many good young quarterbacks, and there's more to come, like Justin Fields, who will probably break out next year. Yeah, if they do it, if they nurture him right, if they nurture him correctly, he did show some flashes. He did show some flashes this past year. I know he showed some flashes against us when we played the Bears. So like I believe in Justin Fields. I believed in Justin Fields when he was coming out of college. I think that the future is bright for Justin Fields, and I actually believe the future is bright for the Chicago Bears, just in general right now. I think what they're doing, as far as this offseason is concerned, and how they've started this offseason, is really pretty impressive. Obviously they traded back with the Panthers. They acquired an extra first round pick. They also acquired DJ Moore on top, wide receiver DJ Moore on top of it for Justin Fields. So, their GM's doing some pretty good shit. Right now. They also brought in linebacker Tremaine Edmonds and linebacker TJ Edwards. So they're definitely making some moves. King says Dak is ass. Yes, Dak is ass. Actually kind of sounds funny the way that comes out. Dak is ass. Dak is ass. Who's that fucking guy? I don't know. Dak is ass. Slay says Patrick versus Joe will be a matchup I'm going to tune into a lot. Yeah, I think that's an AFC matchup that we're going to be watching for quite a bit. Josh Allen kind of took a little bit of a step back, not a big step back. I think that they're going to get their running game. I think that they're going to get their running back. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills take a Jamar Gibbs. I wouldn't be surprised, if they take a Bijan Robinson, honestly, guys. I wouldn't be surprised. What do the Bills pick at 24 or something like that in the draft? Slay says losing Chauncey sucks, man. Yeah, Yeah. No shit. No shit. Um, yeah, I don't, like I said earlier, the reports were the Philadelphia Eagles offered him a multi-year deal to start free agency. Um, and he turned it down. And then by the time that he tried to come back around to it, the Philadelphia Eagles were already prioritizing other things, like bringing back Bradbury, bringing in Mariota, um, other positions like G.WILLIAMS. My thing is that you go to the Detroit Lions, you sign a 1-year deal with the Detroit Lions for $8 million. Really, really, like why not? Like you like I, like the reports are is that the reports are that he still could have gone back to the Philadelphia Eagles. There was still an offer there on the table. Um, why not? And here's the thing. If it was like it bugs me the most, honestly, because it's like when is when are the Philadelphia Eagles front office ever going to get this thing through their heads? When are they going to get it? Like, do you guys remember the various like different safety groupings that we went through after we lost Brian Dawkins in free agency to the Denver Broncos? Before we signed Malcolm Jenkins, we went like through 4 different ones. Quentin Demps was a part of that. Nate Allen was a part of that. And they all sucked. They all absolutely Curtis Marsh was a part of that. Um, and like not having a suitable like a suitable safety back there, like a serviceable safety that can get the job done is going to be a liability for your defense. And we were able to pull off a phenomenal trade last offseason for CJGJ and he did a phenomenal job. Led the league in interceptions. And the defense dropped off when he wasn't on the field. And we saw it. It was noticeable. So hopefully they find a way. There are some safeties I like in this draft. It's not just Brian Branch, in the first round. I do like Florida State, another Florida State safety, just like Chauncey, Jamie Robinson. I think he looks like he could be good. Sidney Brown out of Illinois, I think he looks like he could be good. Merriweather out of West Virginia, I think he could be good. But we'll see. King says, can't wait to see how many picks Dak will throw this year. Oh, yeah, I'm not even thinking about it. 15, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. Slay says, once I saw that picture of Chauncey on the Schefter post, I'm thinking he's back with us, but he signed with the Lions. It's a painkiller, man. No, it's not a painkiller. It's a pain bringer. I couldn't think of anything more clever. Yeah, no, it's a death bringer. Painkiller would have killed the pain. But yeah, no, it's gonna Slay's laughing at me. Yes, I've met my quota. At least I have. As long as I can get one of you to laugh at me each time I do a live stream, then I think I'm solid. I'm good. Yeah, re-blankenship season. Yeah, maybe re-blankenship season. We'll see. He's probably going to compete. It depends on what Desai wants out of his safeties. It depends on what Desai wants out of his safeties. But here's the thing: is like, it doesn't matter what defensive scheme you're running. If you can have a coverage safety and a guy, if you can have a safety that can play high and that can also come down and also play in the slot for you and can be multi-positional, it's going to be beneficial to any defensive scheme that you run. You know, it's like having the honey badger. It's like having Tyrann Mathieu, you know, and who wouldn't want Tyrann Mathieu on their team? I don't think there's any defensive coordinator that wouldn't want the honey badger on their team. Slay says I like Reed. I like Reed too. I think where he's gonna win is his technique. I think where he's gonna win is his technique. He's not the fastest guy in the world. I love the heat that he brings, though. He's a hard hitter. He's a really hard hitter. He does play sideline to sideline. We noticed that in the first few games that he played last season, and that's kind of what really caught our eye first, honestly. Outside of him picking off Aaron Rodgers, that was pretty fucking cool. But yeah, he plays sideline to sideline. He's a hard hitter. We just got to make sure that if he can refine his technique, a bit more, just a bit, like just inch by inch, continue to get better, better day by day. Who knows where he can be. Slay says Desai runs a 4-3 base defense. I can't wait to see what the draft looks like. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's kind of the thing that makes me think that they might not go defensive line as high as they need to, as high as we might think. So, and that's the thing too, is like, do we actually need to? Do we actually need, like, how much do we actually need a defensive tackle that high? Like, we got Fletcher Cox coming back, which I thought was incredible. Guys, I like what Howie has done. I mean, what Howie has done so far this offseason has been incredible. I didn't think he was going to be able to do any of what he's done. Obviously we released Fletcher Cox last season, then we brought him back on a 1-year, $14 million deal, and then we re-signed him on a 1-year, $10 million deal this season. Brandon Graham on a 1-year, $6 million deal. And these are all veterans who are still highly serviceable when they're playing limited snaps, and we saw that last season. Fletch had double-digit sacks. Brandon Graham had double-digit sacks. Like, this could be good. Milton Williams is probably going to be the guy who gets the most snaps, to be completely honest with you, between him and Fletch. It wouldn't surprise me. King says, I can't wait to see what he does with Riddick, though. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think Reddick's going to be fine. I think Josh Sweat's going to be fine. Yeah, I just don't know. Like, I mean, I think here's my thing is I think that what Howie is trying to do, especially with the signing of G.WILLIAMS, and like it couldn't have been any more apparent. It just reminded me what Howie's philosophy is every single offseason, which is no matter what the holes are, we're going to make sure that we try and fill every single one before we go into the draft, so that we don't have to go into the draft like, needing one thing more than the other. So like, we don't need to take a Devin Witherspoon. Could we take a Devin Witherspoon? Yeah, we could take a Devin Witherspoon. We don't need to take a Jalen Carter. Would it be nice to take a Jalen Carter and have Jalen Carter pan out? Yeah. We don't necessarily need to. We could probably wait until the second round to get a DT. But here's my thing is like, I don't think the second round pick is going to be far off from what we did last season. It wouldn't shock me, to be completely honest with you. It wouldn't shock me if they had Kelsey handpick an offensive lineman again this year. Because what if Cam Jurgens comes in and plays really, really well at right guard? You're going to move him? You're going to move him back to center? Well, there's some good guard centers coming out in this draft. There's some good guard centers coming out in this draft. Why not take another guard center in the second round this year? Why not? Why not? Do we have a second round pick? I believe we do. I hope we do. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are far off. I know a lot of teams far off. I know that I would like to see, I think that there's a few moves that they could really, really capitalize on to make the offense even more elite. I think McCall Hardman could be one of them. And I think drafting a running back, I think drafting Bijan Robinson or something like that could be another one. Do we need to do that? No, I don't think so. There's wide receivers that I like in this draft that we could have as late as the third round. There's running backs that I like that we could have as late as the third round. There's linebackers that I like that we could have as late as the fourth round. And as I start to pick up my streams again and start to do more and more streams, we'll get back to talking about this quite a bit. But I'm really excited about this draft. I think anytime you have a team that's putting puzzle pieces back together, for me, it's always fun. I like that part of it. The roster building, and seeing how the guys pan out. I really like linebacker. I think Ivan Pace out of Cincinnati. I really like him. I think he would be great to pair up with Nakobe Dean. There's quite. I like Carl Brooks. I like Carl Brooks along the defensive line out of Bowling Green. Small school guy, but he's a strong dude, 6'4", 300 pounds. You could play him all across the line because he's really versatile. You could probably have him in the third round, fourth round. So that's the difference between what I've kind of done this season. So this season so far is I've really started from the back of the draft towards the front. Obviously, I've looked at some of the top tier guys, like who can we expect it at 10, but I've mainly been doing some digging in the middle rounds. And because that's where most of our picks are, honestly. I think Howie's gonna find a way to get a fourth round pick and a fifth round pick. So I don't I'm not worried about not having that right now. Howie always seems to find a way, but there's more moves to come, guys. There's more moves to come. No need to worry about the safety position as it is right now. I'm really excited. It's great to be back on here with you guys. One love. Thank you for joining in. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Stay safe, stay healthy. One love. Go Birds, baby.